to be available in the Senate to consider and pass these legislative and financial instruments. Other business before the Senate includes 26 bills, of which 21 are the second reading stage, and 5 are the committee of the whole stage. 15 petitions are pending before select committees, and 24 pending motions. In addition, there are a number of questions and statements filed and will be scheduled in the order paper appropriately. I take this opportunity to urge standing committees to prioritize processing of legislative business and to table reports as required by the standing orders. You will recall, honorable senators, that just before we proceeded on recess, we began implementation of the procedure on questions in the Senate. 2 sittings were held on 23rd of April and 3rd of May 2023, where cabinet secretaries appeared before the Senate to respond to questions. As is expected, at the beginning of most new processes, there will be a number of teething challenges, and so we have faced a number which continue to be addressed by the Senate Business Committee to iron them out. One of the major decisions that the committee has made, and therefore necessitates a communication to the Senate, is the requirement to have only 3 cabinet secretaries at any one sitting. This measure will ensure that there is adequate time for the Senate to interrogate the responses from cabinet secretaries. This measure will be implemented from tomorrow, Wednesday, 24th of May, 2023, during the morning sitting. As we progress, we will continue to learn and make the necessary adjustments to improve on procedure for questions. I also appeal to honorable senators to continue familiarizing themselves with the framework on questions as well as the attendant guidelines. Honorable senators, during the recess, the Senate leadership held a candid and constructive deliberations on the processing of legislative business in the Senate and resolved to work harmoniously in the discharge of our constitutional mandates. Focus will therefore be given to business scheduled in the order paper, as a number of bills and motions are critical to the operations of county governments. This will sustain a healthy and robust debate and the differing opinions and perspectives that will form amendments to bills and impact on government policy. On the other hand, and in accordance with the communication issued before the Senate proceeded on recess, the Chair will not hesitate to drop any business for which the respective member is not available in the House. These measures are necessary to ensure that the legislative agenda of the Senate remains on track, and I implore you, honorable senators, to work closely with the Senate leadership in delivering on the aspirations of the people of Kenya. Honorable senators, in conclusion, I take this opportunity to impress upon each one of us to rededicate ourselves to the execution of our constitutional mandate in service to our great country. I also wish to state that my office of the Senate leadership, and the Secretariat are always at your disposal to facilitate you to do your work. I wish you fruitful deliberations and wish you, honorable senators, every success during this session. I thank you. Honorable senators, I also do have a further communication to make. Before I do that, Majority Leader and Senator Issa, kindly proceed to have your seat. Honorable senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation from the Parliament of Zimbabwe. The delegation comprises members of the thematic Committee on Peace and Security and its staff who are on a benchmarking visit. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. The Honorable Senator Dr. Prinyatwa David, the chairperson of the committee. The Honorable Senator Chimbuzi Alice. The Honorable Senator Kumalo Nomalanga. the Honorable Senator Komichi Mogeni, the Honorable Senator Chief Makumbe, the Honorable Senator Mathuthu Themba, the Honorable Senator Mohadi Tambuzai, Ms. Faith Manhivi, Ms. Tapiwa Sukuta, a researcher. Honorable Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome and wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. Again, I wish to acknowledge the presence in the Speaker's Gallery this afternoon of a visiting delegation from the Parliament of Zimbabwe. The delegation is undertaking a benchmarking visit in the Center for Parliamentary Studies and later participate in the 3rd Annual Parliamentary Symposium to be held in Naivasha, Nakuru County from the 26th to the 27th May 2023. I request each member of the delegation to stand when called out so that they may be acknowledged in the Senate tradition. Mr. Kennedy Mugove Chokuda. The Clerk of Parliament, Mrs. Nomasonto Audrey Sunga. Deputy Clerk, Mr. Stewart Jailos. Director, Human Resources, Mr. Nesbat Samu. Ms. Senators, on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I will allow the Majority Whip on the behalf